Hey. Hey, 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 hey. How are you? Tonight we're going to talk about the snowball method. I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We're going to talk about the snowball method tonight. Okay, if anybody is trying to pay back some debt, this is for you. This is for you. All right. So when it comes to the snowball method, hey. Okay, you do not have to go out. Hey, Don, you do not have to go out and get extra income if you do not want to, but it is an option as well. Okay, so the snowball method is you focusing on one debt at a time. Okay, so we are going to focus on one debt at a time. Now, that doesn't mean that you're just going to ignore all the other debts that you have, okay? You're still going to pay the minimum payment on all the other ones, okay? So, still paying the minimum payment for all the others. Okay, so we're gonna be focusing on one debt at a time, but we're still paying the minimum payment for all of the other debts that you have. Okay, now the reason why you want to focus on one debt at a time is because if we take the money that we have left over and we spread it across all of our debts, it's really not gonna do too much. Okay, but when you take that extra $100 and you put that $100 on that one debt, it's going to help you knock down that debt quicker. Okay, so there is a snowball and an avalanche, but this week we're going to talk about snowball. Okay, so the snowball is where you are starting with the lowest balance debt. Okay, so starting with lowest balance. So what you're going to do is you are going to go and collect all of the debt that you pay. You can include your car, you can include your house, you can include your student loans, all of those debts that you have. You can include them in if that's a part of your debt payoff plan. Okay, so we're starting with the lowest balance and we're going to do go find all of the debt, and then what we're going to do is, hey, welcome in. Then what we're going to do is we are going to line them up from lowest all the way to the highest. Okay, so starting lowest balance all the way to highest. Now, the reason why you want to get this list in order is because what you want to do is roll over the money as you complete it. Okay, so let's get into it. So we're starting with the lowest balance debt. Okay, let's say the lowest balance debt that we have is $379. Okay, let's say the second one that we have is $950. Let's say another debt that we have is $2,680. And then let's say we have another one that is we'll say 8,000. Okay, So these are the debts that we have. The lowest is 379. Then we have the 950. We have the 2,680. We also have the 8,000. Okay. You also want to know the interest rates. You want to know all of the good details of the debt that you have. It's just good to know. So you can kind of gauge how much interest you're going to be adding every single month. Okay. But you're going to start with the 379. So let's say that the minimum payment for this, I have no idea. We're just going to be guessing numbers. So let's say that one's 25. We'll say this one is 40. We'll say this one is 119. I don't know. And then this one can be let's do 189. We're just gonna do random numbers, okay? But those are the minimum payments that you're already paying, okay? So then you want to build out your budget, okay? Always want to build out your budget for the savings, for the debt, for the investments, the future, all of that good stuff, spending, because you just want to know what you have to work with, okay? So these are the minimum payments that you're already paying on those different debts. So we're starting with this 379. The minimum payment every month is 25. Now, let's say that we go through our bills and expenses. We free up money, okay? This is if you don't have the ability to add extra income. We free up money, okay? Let's say that now we are going to add an extra $75. Okay, an extra $75, which means that now instead of paying 25, we are paying $100 on just this one. We're still paying the same amount for the other 3 debts. Okay, let's say we finally reach the time where the 379 is completely paid off. Okay, because we're not just doing the $75 once and then we're going back to the 25. Adopt that. Okay, commit to that. And now when you're filling out your budget, you're now going to say $100. Now you can add more if you come into more money, but now your minimum that you're going to do every single month until it's paid off is $100, because just paying the 25, it would have took you longer to pay that one off. But when you're paying 100, that's like a few months and you're done. Okay? So once you're finished, we're not going to say, yes, that's an extra $100 back into the pocket. We can go out this weekend. We can do this. We could do that. Instead, we're going to take that 100 that's already been accounted for the past few months, right? It's not throwing us off. We've been comfortable without having that extra 75 back in our budget. So now we're not going to put that back. We're going to add it to the 140. And this is what it means by snowball, because now putting 140 towards that 950 is going to help you get that 950 knocked off quicker. So now we're going to add that 100, which is giving us 140 every month. Again, if you find extra income or if you find money within your budget extra, you don't have to just do $140. That's just going to be your new minimum that you're doing. So again, this one is paid off. Now, the next month, we are going to say 140 for that debt when we're filling out our budget, and we're not going to say 40. Okay? So now we paid that off. Okay? We paid off the 950. So now we're working on the next debt. So what are you going to do? You're going to take this 140. Again, we're not putting it back into our budget. We are snowballing it. So by the time we get to this 8,000, we're going to be paying a hefty payment every single time. And you didn't even have to go find any extra money after finding it the first time, unless you want to add it. Okay. So now we're going to 140 and 119. What's that? 259. Okay. So you're going to add that 140. That means $259 once you complete this one, okay? So now this one is paid off. This one is paid off. Now we just have 2 more to go. And you're listing however many debts you have. So it might not be 4, it might be 17 different debts. But you're still going to put them in order from lowest balance all the way to the highest, okay? So now the next month's you're paying $259. Again, you're not finding money anywhere because it's already been in the budget. You've already been doing your budget with these numbers. You're just moving it to the next debt, okay? So now we have the 259, and let's say, all right, it's been some months. We did the 259. Now we're gonna add the 189 to the 259 because now we're done with this one as well. Okay, we still been paying the 189 on this every month. We're still paying the 259 every month until it's gone. And now you're just going to add the 259. And what is that? 9, 18, 448, I believe. Okay. So the $448 is now going to be the new minimum payment for that $8,000 debt. $189 every month compared to paying $448 every month. Okay. Of course, you're going to have interest that was added, but you're going to be able to knock out all of this debt quicker than you would if you took that $75 and you tried to split it up between all of these. It really was not going to make that much of a difference. Okay. And you're going to do that if you decide to do the snowball method. You're going to do that until you have been completely debt free of all the debts that you have accumulated, because now we've paid that. Now we paid that one off. And now we don't have any more debt. Now, the kicker is, y'all, okay, and listen good. You don't want to go back to just racking up more debt. Okay, so as you are paying off this debt, you need to be vowing to yourself that this next go around, this clean slate you're giving yourself is going to be a responsible one. That doesn't mean you have to go chop up credit cards. It doesn't mean that you can't get, it just means that the next time you're going to be responsible. What does that look like? You're going to use the card and then you're going to pay it back every single month. Every single month. And I know what some of y'all are going to say, but what about emergencies? That's why before you go heavy on this, you need to build your emergency fund. Okay. When you build your emergency fund first, now you have some money, some cushion to lean back on if something happens that's not going to throw you off of the plan that you have set for yourself. Okay. So the very first thing before you go heavy on the snowball method is get you an emergency fund stacked up. Money in there that you don't have to touch until you actually need it. So don't put it into your emergency fund and then pull it back out to do something else and then still go heavy on your debt because you still don't have a cushion. Okay. So starting with the lowest balance all the way to the highest, you're going to go through your budget. If you cannot add extra income, go through your budget, free up some money, see how much you're able to commit to, and then add that in for your new minimum payment on the lowest one first. Focus on that one while still putting in the minimum payments for the rest of them. Then what you're going to do is you're going to, once that lowest one is paid off, you're just going to take that same $100 that was already in your budget and you're going to add it to the second one. When that one's paid off, you're going to take the same money that was already in your budget, already accounted for debt, okay? And you're just going to add it to the next one, and then add it to the next one, and then add it to the next one. And that's the snowball method, y'all. That is the snowball method. One debt at a time, starting lowest to highest. Make sure before you do the snowball method, you go ahead and build that emergency fund. Okay? Any questions, y'all? Any questions about the snowball method? No questions about the snowball method? Thank you. I try to break it down as simple as possible when it comes down to the way that I teach. So that's why I always ask if there's any questions, because if you need me to go a little slower, a little deeper, I have it for you, okay? Thank you. Thank you. That makes me feel so good, y'all. And this is going to be up so y'all can rewatch it once you start planning out what you actually want to do with your debt, okay? We will talk about the avalanche method as well, which is same type of thing, but you're starting at a different point, okay? So I love the snowball method. That is how I paid off my credit cards and personal loans back in 2022, okay? And it's great. It definitely works. You just have to work the plan, okay? You definitely have to work the plan. All right, y'all. I'm excited. I hope that we are all becoming debt free in 2025. Okay. Get started now. The earlier, the better. Go build your budget. Go figure out what extra money you can come up with and start paying extra. That's how you're going to definitely get where you want to get. Okay. Not just by paying the minimum payments. I hope y'all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. And we will be back here next week, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And as I always leave and say, y'all be budgeted. And I will see y'all in the next live.